Now that's much better. Finally. That was so odd. I couldn't even rotate the screen, so we had to cancel the first stream and come back with a new one. Where are you, Ham? Hey, Mario. Yes, there we go. That was so weird. So weird. The screen would not rotate. Everything is weird today. How's your day going, Mario? Let's see. Now we're getting charts. No biggie indeed. Are you doing good today, brother? Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I'm great, brother. I'm great only in a few cents because my tlry is doing wonderful, and I'm having a hard time trying to get rid of it right now, at least on the calls part. Um, Let me start this chat off by saying I'm not a financial advisor, say guys, and neither I'm giving financial advice. But yeah, with that being said, um, yeah, Tilray is great. My GME is doing wonderful, but that I don't have any calls on. It's just a bunch of shares, and I'm so great. Remember what I was saying yesterday, Mario? I said that if they do not want us to break the $150 level on GME, that was like their wild case scenario. And here, as we can see, just in this past 30 minutes, in fact, not even like 15 minutes, GME is basically taking just buy orders, and it's like huge candles. I want to see what they would do with the ladder attack. How's everyone doing in here? 320, we got a good 40-minute action. Come on, AMC, make me proud. Uh oh, so Mario, you jumped on Tilray too. Well, hopefully it made you happy today, or not even yet. We'll see, because I have a lot to cover on all those stocks today. And Vincent, I'm gonna learn Spanish through you. I believe it. Que nada, viva la roller coaster. I feel like I understood that one. We have a lot of technicals to talk about, and a lot of effery that is happening, but they can't do it all across the board. Oh no. I just dropped my Arabic coffee cup. Ah, down goes the Reds. And it filled up the whole Reds hat. Okay. You know, from the culture I come from, they say that dropping coffee is a good omen. And I just literally dropped all of it. Here. You guys want to see? No more cup for the cup readers. All right. I'm back. So yeah, in my culture, they say apparently that dropping coffee is a good omen. And smoking hookah is not good for you, but it's a bad habit for me. So I don't encourage you. What's going on, Maddox? How are you? Let's see. I know, man. I wasted really good coffee. I really wanted that. And that was my first cup because today my sleeping has been all over the place. Uh, Pete, how are you? Welcome to the chat. The same thing in your culture too? Um, I used to have my mom and aunts do it. They enjoy that stuff, women. Um, and the funny thing is that they will see every little thing, and it always seems, excuse me, it's a sneeze, not what you think. But yeah, apparently, like they always see a snake in there or something. That means somebody's out there to get you. So it's hilarious with them. I enjoy it. Um, Glad to see everyone in a better mood across the play. Same here. My mom just saw the the coffee. She's like, what did you do? All right, we're waiting on more people to attend the chat, guys, so that we can get going with this. While that's happening, we're watching what's going on. Man, I was wondering, I was like, why is the laptop not pushing? Because the cup was right behind it, and I really wanted that coffee. Actually, let me see. You got me a good idea, Pete. Like I said, in our culture, it says it's a good thing when coffee is dropped. But do I see AMC? For some reason, I see a Nike swoosh. Is that a sign? We should go to Nike. um, Let me see if I see any uptick candles. It doesn't. I can't see nothing. Yeah, maybe I'm just not the person for this. All right. Watch Nike go to like some unbelievable numbers. It'll be crazy if that happens. Um, okay, so as we are looking, great. Now even my laptop is dying too. What is happening? Ah, is it the hedgies? Bob Loco, how are you, brother? Let's see if Vincent said, I made a silly mistake, but the hype of Aurora ACP in the ACB in the peak, put a stop loss and it's gone. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Um, One thing I can tell you, um, Vincent, is that okay, don't dwell too much on it. At least the good part here is that through this movement, you might, and again, I'm not advising to make any moves or any of that stuff. I'm not an advisor. You know all that spiel, guys, by now. But you get to see before it's 4 o'clock, you get to see in which direction this thing is moving because you got to remember one thing: the trend is your friend, my friend. Um, if these stocks normally, let's say ACB is on uptick as it's going to into the close, that might be an interesting area to buy in, and simply because normally that trend carries over to Monday. It carries on to next Monday, and at least you'll have a good price point. Now, here's the thing. Um, at least just for Tilray sake, you know, I would say so far right now, unless one of the other ones like Sundial and ACB and the rest of the marijuana crew, unless they all uh, make an aggressive return as well, an uptick. Right now, Tilray is destroying these guys on the back end of the block of the options chain. I mean, and GME is literally like just vomiting all over the the hedgies right now. This is great, guys. This is great. We just need our AMC to go ahead and crack up 50 cents out of somewhere. Where? I don't know. Come on, guys. Make something happen. Um, Peter, how are you, brother? It's good they are shorting this down bad. Yeah, you know how much money they are borrowing just to do this, and it's not even doing that much. Like all they're doing is maintaining like imagine this. Imagine like there's a wildfire and everyone is just hiding in one room because they can't get out and the doors are blocked. All they're doing, all these hedgies are blocked in that one room, and all they're doing is just making sure that fire doesn't come within that room as well. But we all know that's inevitable. The fire is gonna spread. It's gonna spread, and that's what we can see. We're breaking over the 20. Okay, who knew that talking to you guys, motivating you, and all that stuff could get an uptick of 5 cents. You guys got that cash roll. Okay. Um, hey, tiny investor, welcome. I'm not gonna reveal your identity in here anymore. I promise. It's up to you to do so. We still get a mini gamma ramp next week since max pain is 18. I believe also all the calls from 15 to about 20 is in the money. So all the calls up till the until the $19 strike price are in the money, brother. The 20 is not, because even if it closes at 20, all the people with the $20 strike price can do is exercise their calls. They cannot sell them for profits or any of that. They would need at least 20 and 60 cents, perhaps 20 to 80, 20 and 60 or 20 and 80 to, be able to sell them for a profit. But we want them to exercise, right? So that's what we see now. Max pain, in my idea, we're gonna do that here. Let's look. I mentioned some estimates yesterday, guys, in the live chat. I've mentioned some on GME. I mentioned on AMC. We're gonna do those, and we're gonna do tlry and sundial. I'm gonna do one for everyone. All right. And what is everyone in here doing? Come on, guys. Destroy that like button. Let's get more people in here. Look, now I got OJ instead of coffee. At least it's healthy. Let's see. So AMC, we got a lot of things have changed since yesterday till today. So it seems that the most important level now, as we have been talking, is the $20 level. I'm standing firm with that, guys. That $20 level is the most important thing that we have on our hands. As far as the $18 one is probably around the third most important. The second most important is the $22 level. So there's our max pain. I'll say our max pain. Okay, we can go with 18. It will give us a small little ramp, but in the same time, you gotta remember, what's out of the money is way more than what's in the money. If we end at this level this week, if we get at least the $20 in the money by the end of this session, then we will outweigh them, and then, or we'll be very similar on that link, and then we could say that it's going to be real pain for them, max pain for them. Okay, come on, sundial is pushing up. I like it. So yes, let's look at our tlry. And while I'm doing that, let me read some of the comments so we don't get behind a little bit. So Vincent said, I'm still trying to learn. Luckily, it was a few dollars working on my stop loss exit plan. That's very good, Vincent. It's amazing and great to get that in now than to try to get that in later, because then you'll have to rebuild all over again. Um, just for example, Vincent, for me, and again, I'm not influencing anyone. I have a 20% loss on protection on that on downtick. So like anything that falls below 20%, especially I mean unless it's a AMC or a GME, I'm parting ways with it, and then doesn't matter. I will lose 20% to get in for the better advantage of getting back in at a better price point and riding it back up and recouping that 20% and perhaps a lot more. But that's way more safe than taking the risk of waiting on it, saying, okay, it'll rebound, and the next thing you know, you see yourself at a 50 and an 8, a 60 and a $70 loss or cent loss. Um, and you don't know what to say anymore. Now you're at the mercy of the market. You know what I'm saying? So good on you, Vincent. Look, Vincent is I think he's throwing shots at you, Tanya. He's telling you he knows your secret. Um, what are my thoughts on BBBY? You know how big my thoughts are on BBBY, Tiny. I almost said your name. And the reason why you know how big I am, because on the videos I've always said those things about the stocks, especially the ones that I have some position in. Now it might not be the biggest position I have in it, but it is still a worthy position that I have in. And it's mainly for the short squeeze candidate. It's not because of just the fundamentals, even though you have a lot of great things going on with Cohen being on board and them reaching a settlement with him to appoint three new directors on that board. Um, BBBY is looking to be reshaped similar to GME growth. Um, and that's obviously a very, very bullish thing. So the price points that you're in, I mean, when I got in, it was in the 12s. Believe it or not, I have some friends who got in even when I, like, they were like, what are you in? And I showed them, and they're like, okay, we want to get in. And they even got in around that $11 range. So right now we're enjoying a good profit, but again, it's not worth anything compared to what the squeeze can get. So I'm not scalping this play. That's what my thoughts are on BBBY. We can also rely on GME to finish high. That helps since their liquidity will be spread more thin next week. Yeah, this is exactly the case, Peter. Yes, for sure. That's why I said yesterday that if also GME, the level that they don't want whatsoever to break for GME was, I think yesterday we closed at the 140, if I'm not mistaken, and the level that they did not want to touch was 150. And guess what? We are dancing on that line right now. We're 151, which is good. We close at this, guys, at just literally at this price ticker as we see on GME. Um, they're screwed next week. They're screwed across the board. And yes, GME will break out first, and then everyone else will say flood the gates, and then everyone else will go their separate way at that point. Let's see. Tiny GME is fighting for 150. Yeah, see, I called it yesterday for you guys. Please go scroll through. I know you guys follow a lot more, many more channels, and see which one said it specifically with the number 150. Um, and predicted it to be that way for you. I know that I said that that's the level they did not want it to break. And as you can see right now, we're coming down to crunch time, and guess what? They don't want us to break 150, and they're doing a terrible job. Woo! Come on, tlry, go. How many people do we have in here that have a position in tlry, or at least heard it like weeks ago we was when I was not, I don't want to say promoting it, but talking about it a lot, because again I said I have a huge position in it. But how many people in here have a position in tlry? Okay. Oh, look at Peter taking matters into his own hands. He already took a call out. for 22 AMC next week. You know what? Obviously, so, Peter and everyone, I don't advise on anything what to do or what not to do. But here's the thing: AMC, as far as my opinion, at the 22, even though it's out of the money, even though I always say don't do anything in out of the money because it's very risky. But here's the cool part: that is as close as to in the money as you could get, my friend, because simply when that little gamma ramp occurs next week as we close above that $20 range, or given that GME closes above 150, you're gonna go way over that 22. You're gonna see probably AMC. My guess is we're gonna be running around or dancing around that 26 and $28 range somewhere if things go accordingly. But here's the best part, guys. Actually, let me read how many people are probably in tlry first before I get to the best part about that idea. Oh, Assiduous, what's up, brother? That's our man. Um, Tiny investor, that's true. Man, there's a ton of calls in the Money Monday. We'll be telling how many convert to shares, which sets us up for a gamma squeeze. Indeed. Good to see you too, brother. I am having a fantastic Friday with what's happening in front of me right now. Okay, so Tiny has 150 shares. Wow, all right. Are you satisfied? Did you get in before all these run-ups as we were talking about? Hopefully you did. Vincent, I'm humble. Thank you so much. I'm not trying to get my head, don't get my head any big, or it's already very, very big, but not in that sense. Don't get it any bigger. Um, we'll just say I got lucky. Look at Sidious. Tilre, is that Spanish for GME? Or if so, then yes, sir. Well, here's the thing, Sidious. You're going to bring me to the part that I'm best going to talk about. What's up, Muhammad? Assalamu alaikum, brother. Um, good list. AMC, Sundial, Sen. You are in some monsters. Um, I'm tempted to sell Tiny. Well, again, no one can influence what you would like or anything. You have your strategies. You're a very, very smart investor. So go with what you gel with best from the get go. Whatever worked for you all this time until this point, stick with it. Do not change your methods, guys. Adapt when things are falling apart, but keep your strategy the same over time. Is always the best advice that I could give you on that part. And yes, Tiny, this brings me ultimately, like I was telling Sidious, to the best point. The best part is when I see this is happening, I have calls and I have stocks into the Tilray and the Sundial. And when I'm seeing this, now I feel like I put myself in a position where it's great. This is how I grow my positions, how I grew my positions in AMC and GME, uh, you know, to be the way that they are. I mean, guys, my AMC position is very huge, and I'm not like showing it off or anything, but um, the only way that was able to start, or I was able to do that, was through this personally, my personal, like this personal strategy of obviously milking the system to add more to my favorite plays. And unless you're gonna have another strategy of continuing to go work or anything to get money so you can up your position, that's another strategy as well. But that does not up your position as efficiently as I would would see it. That's just me, guys. Everyone is different. Um, so that's my way of upping my positions. I mean, would you believe if I had told you guys that um, in the beginning of the pandemic, I literally started this with the stimulus money. It came to me, okay, the business was shut, and I didn't need really that money for sure. So I utilized that money. That was my beginning as far as into the stock market. This second round, even though I started back in 2018, but I took it seriously around that time because there was nothing much to do. I didn't have to worry about my back end of my business or any of that. So I jumped into that. And here's the thing. With that money, believe it or not, I was able to up and up and up my positions continuously. I told you my first play that was a winner, and it was a monster winner, was Party City. And everybody's like laughing at. But at that time, when everything was closed, it was in the cents. I mean, I got in at 8 cents. Um, and I sold it when it ran up to 4, and it ran up for more than that, all the way up to I think 8 or even 12 after. And we're talking about 2 years ago, guys. Um, but that threw everything on the map for me, and ever since then, I just kept doing my thing. Made some good money in the January run up of 2021, but the biggest play for me was in June of 2021 when I had massive amounts of calls on AMC, and it paid out really big. And even though the whole thing was nothing, somewhere between $8 to $12,000, and all that money have come from that initially from that stimulus package money, believe it or not. Again, no one can verify, but this is just my story to you. Hopefully you believe it. Hopefully it can make any sense to you. But then when that happened with the options in AMC, I was able to turn my AMC investment, which was in the 3 digits, to a very high 4 digits investment just in AMC alone. And I'm not gonna, mention GME or any of that stuff, because that has been already the person that I was been in from the get-go in general, or started the movement. And now we're looking at wherever we're looking at. Now that I'm seeing tlry the way that it is, and I've been talking about it like crazy, and you guys remember this, covering it for the past few weeks, and now seeing them do this. I mean, right now is just up to me deciding on when is a good time to go ahead and do what I gotta do, to go ahead and increase my position in AMC and GameStop. You feel me, guys? If you feel me, you feel me. If you don't, I'm sorry. All right. Wow. So I did not see this one today. Assidious said GME borrow rate is sitting at 26.3. Wow, would even go as far as 30%. Called my broker and they confirmed it's on a hard to borrow, even with Fidelity. Shorties love it from behind. I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. Imagine, like, look at the value of the stock, guys. The fact that it's 150, 151, whoever wants to short it, let alone whoever wants to lend it or give the shares, make it available to short, you must be out of your mind. One, if you're gonna offer the shares, you could make a whole lot more than that stupid 20% or 30%, because even that is not looking very profitable to you if you have the shares and you want to give it. So they're not interested, which means if they ultimately do give those shares up, how much more on the back end did the hedgies pay them extra so they can sway them for getting? You remember that, guys. Things that are not reported, that doesn't mean they did not happen, or they're not coexistent. When somebody knows that they're holding something that someone else badly needs, they're in power, and they know that. Especially the people on Wall Street, the most evil people on this planet, they will milk that opportunity left and right. So they will ask for extra favors, for extra things, just to consider giving them those shares. And even then, they have to they have to pay crazy amount of interest and money just so they can get enough to try to short. So whoever is going to try to do something like this, they must be having a wonderful Friday. Let's see. My two choice for weed stocks were tlry and ACB. And I chose ACB because it was cheaper. Silly, we should have listened to this AB guy. Let me tell you a story about ACB, Vincent. ACB back in 2020 was actually one of the plays that I played in. It dropped down all the way to the $3 range. And imagine now, like, it's so much cheaper than what it was before even this run up. So I remember selling it when it ran up to the 650 range, and it continued, I think, to $7. But in that time frame, um, that was kind of like out of nowhere. And guess what was that time frame? Similar to this time frame, but it was, I think, in June of 2020. And the reason why it was very similar, actually, no, it was in April of 2020. And the reason why that happened is because they were proposing the same thing that they're proposing right now, this time last year. So you have to keep this in the back of your heads, guys. This whole hype for this is mainly because of that draft that they're gonna draft into this Congress to vote on, and then later on, I think next week or the week after, into the Senate, or later on into the Senate. That does not mean by any means that it's what it is. Like, they did the same thing last year, and it could, highly could, continue start dropping later on next week on Monday. So I'm not saying it will drop. I'm saying it could, depending on what they say on that. So if, like last year, if they say no, we're not going to pass it, or they pass it to the Senate and then the Senate disapproves it, then all this stuff kind of goes away. But the cool part here is that all these stocks that I've mentioned, like Sundial and Tilray, this is why I jumped off of the ACB train back in, when I sold it. And then when I looked back at the marijuana stocks, and I was like, okay, I need some stocks from here to get into. And I saw that Tilray and Sundial were the best opportunity for me, especially because of the short on it. Specifically Tilray, the short that's on it is unbelievable, and it's not in any fear of going bankrupt or being under $1. Like, for example, the pressure that's on Sundial, and getting the fear of getting delisted. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm higher on Tilray than Sundial, but those two still averaged out to be my most important two things. So if those things don't check out and the bill does not check out next week, guess what? If GME breaks through the option chain and it runs next week, guess who else is really shorted really high on Telray and Sundial and bbby and even Clove? And I know a lot of people stop talking about it. I'm not too high on it. What they did with it with the Lou train last year was unbelievable, and I stay away from it as much as possible unless I see an opportunity. I don't care about whatever. As long as I see an opportunity, I'm game. Um, okay, we're holding well. I can't get enough of looking at that GME 150 price. Hopefully they don't take it away from us. And Frank, what's up, my friend? There you go. And yes, I will go see his tits are very jacked. Okay, I will. uh, how did I know about GME back then, like in 2020? Well, there was a couple of things. One, the fact what it dropped to, and it was very known that they were shorting it down like crazy, even AMC as well. But what changed, what gave me the inclination to actually jump in it, was when I heard news that there was this Wall Street bets people that were talking, like it was just a group talking about this. It was a no-brainer at that point, because at that point all you had to think about, and that was especially in like as soon as we came to June of 2020, I remember perfectly. That's when the markets reopened back up. Like all the businesses, majority of the businesses started reopening. It was like in the end or in mid-May, going into June. And when I knew the only thing that was killing uh, GME at the time, or even AMC, was the fact that their businesses relied heavily on a person, like a retailer, walking in to conduct some business. Let's say GME could possibly survived it by going completely on the internet, or over the net, but AMC could not survive at all. Like that was the most crucial thing. So when I saw the signs that we are reopening and everything is going to be back to normal, and this whole virus thing is calming down, I'm not even going to get into like my views on that. Then it was an obvious choice that, hey, Look at the price point that you're at. Those companies are not going to go bankrupt. Jump in. And plus, on top of that, like I started diving more into that Wall Street bets movement. So I started looking into it more and more. And I saw, okay, that was giving me just more conviction into my play. But I was already in. And because they were giving me more conviction, knowing that I'm not the only one in this, that revolutionized the whole system, anyways. Um, that made me jump in even more and more and not even think about how much I'm throwing in. Let's see. Assiduous. Could you imagine borrowing 100 mil on 30% interest? Holy F. Yeah. That's the crazy part. Plus, not even imagining or thinking about the fact or the idea that that on top of that they still have to do some little magic on the side as well for to just so they can get those shares. So it's not just get those shares easy. Um, let's see. La, 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 la. I watched AMC Bigum's video the other day that compares '08 housing crash to the securities market naked scheme, and it was really good. The government is trapped and does not have any options. Yes, that is the plan, my friend. That's the same video I think I've seen. And Peter, thank you. Yes, Roaring Kitty. Uh, what was his nickname? Um, AF something like that. DF something like that. Let's see. Muhammad says seems AMC closing above 20 today, and yes, it looks like it so far. And we are 6 minutes away from that becoming a reality. I still want that 20, 60, 20, 80 level. And I want GME to go above that 151 just so that we're clear so that they won't go ahead and, you know, try to change. You guys seen those few times where they, as soon as it closed at 4, they will, let's say it closed at 20 and 2001, they will change it in after hour to 1998 or 1999. Like the manipulation never stops at a certain level. It's just continues to, like, it never baffles. Um, yes, DFV. Thank you, Tiny. All right. Well, we'll see you again, Assiduous. Um, can they still bring us down after hour? Um, like in the after hours, they can, it'll be just sales and buys going in, but it's the manipulation levels would not be anything similar to the actual market because they just don't have, um, you know, like all the manipulation tools that they need, like when the market is open. So no, they can't drop us crazy unless they had like, let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say they had like 5 or 10 million shares that were sitting on the side and they didn't utilize them today, as we know that that's impossible because they've been ladder attacking us left and right, uh, and still want to sell them or dump them short, and they don't have that luxury. Remember, they were able to do that about a year, like 6, 8 months ago. They were able to do stuff like that. Since then, you remember those days, guys? If you were in back then, you would know. They used to drop us throughout a day. Like they would pick us up on Monday or Tuesday, 20, 30%. And then by Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, they would drop us like 50% of the price, all in just 2 days. Like it was easy for them to take us up and take us down as they wanted. But now it's different. Money dried up, no shares, regulations from the SEC. Everything is squeezing around them until they squeeze. And we squeeze with them. Or we're the ones who's squeezing them. So let's look at tlry. Okay, shall we? Let's look at tlry. Sorry, I'm just changing the charcoals on my hookah so I can get some smoke out. It looked like I got nothing the first puff I took. Okay. All right, Tilray. We are Tilray. Let's just say they're screwed. Yeah. So, not financial advice, but I am not parting any ways with any of my Tilray today. Even though I kind of wanted to get rid of them and like at least the calls and jump into more AMC and GameStop, but it's no point for me at this point because looking at this, whoo, boys, we're looking at a crazy week for Tilray next week. What my price target for Tilray? um, there's okay. My opinion is I have two price targets. One, if it's a ramp, a gamma ramp, and let's say it's not the squeeze, then I could see me selling this anywhere between the $15 to $20 range on the calls part. But I'm holding on to my stocks because if it is the squeeze, and that's my second price target, then I'm looking to anything above the $60 or $70 range. And if done this before, I was in that last run up that it had back in 2021, and it broke the $67 mark, and it was with ease. And that was again before all the uh, fundamentals that it has now. Like it did not merge with Afaria back then, like or it did not consume Afaria, which was a very big provider as well and was big squeeze candidate back then, and they bought them out. So again, just so you guys would know, this is just a little cool thing. I say it a lot, but I'm gonna say it again. Tilray is the biggest marijuana distributor or company in the globe, not just in one region, in the globe. So yeah, that just friendly announcement. Oh, look at that. I got my more coffee. Hopefully you're not baffled with my price targets, Tiny, but again, um, those are my targets, and as always, you never like if things, as you can see on that moment, is not going the way that you expect it or you want it to be, or changing, then I'm always willing to adapt because again, I always get my initial investment out, and then after that the pressure of holding becomes a whole lot less than than before or any of that. It's so much simpler once I get my initial investment out because I'm not under any pressure now. Whatever I'm gonna get extra, it's up to me whether I'm super greedy or not. It's up to me to know when is enough. And guys, the market have closed. Let me just put it this way: Tilray next week, GME at 151. Let's see. Watch it. Watch next week, guys. Oh my God, I've always want to cry or tear up because I know I've. If you know, you know. ACB for Vincent. I know you're out of it. Just so you would know, on the side, just a side note. It also, yeah, it also broke even. I want to say on the calls on or on the on the options chain. It looks like they're gonna be very 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 bullish as well, but it's nothing close to like Tilray. Tilray, like they did such a terrible job, and you can't blame them for this because look how many battle fronts they have to fight. This is why I've always been telling you guys that it's good when the prices drop on the overall stock market. In the same time, it's good also when, and I always said that the all the meme stocks are going to squeeze at the same time. This is why it's very good because they correlate together so much. This pays out for that. This paves the way for that. If their stocks are falling across the board in different sectors, then their portfolio is over uh, it's over leveraged with all the shorting that they have on so many different stocks in the meme stocks. Now we do know that there are many stocks, meme stocks, that have a lot more short on it than the others. But at the end of the day, when they squeeze, all the numbers are gonna look like phone numbers. That's what it's gonna look like. Obviously, AMC and GME leading the way for us. Um, but if you see profit opportunity or money making opportunity, guess what? No one out there in the world is gonna stand next to you when you're broke or when you're rich. Obviously, they all want to stand next to you when you're rich, but when you're broke, no one wants any part of it. So therefore, always do things for your own convenience. Don't think too much about um, you know, the other people and how they were going to judge or how they're going to look at you or say to you, because at the end of the day it's no one's business but yours. Again, it's your wallet, it's your pocket. Hey, by the way, maybe that Nike symbol that we saw in the cup last time, maybe that was a symbol to show that this is where we're going to go, like this, and then we're going to go up swoosh. Maybe. um let's see. So yeah, GME and like Tilray, literally, they did such a terrible job, guys, that literally almost all the options for this week went in the money. Literally, almost all of them. The only level that they had there was a lot on was the $10 level, and that was there was like around an open interest for 5,029 contracts. And guess what? That's child's play compared to the levels that we got in the money. I mean, um, the $6.50 level got 14,000 calls. The $7 level had another 13,500 calls. The 7.5 level had 12,000 calls. The 8 had 7. The 8.5 had 6,500 calls. Can you believe that, guys? Wow. I'm just overexcited, guys, because that's one of my plays. So let's jump over to sndl. And this was, for me, this was the big letdown of the day. Even though it still, operated well and it operated good. But the reason why it was a big letdown is because we had over 500 million, a half billion in volume. And I was looking at the level two datas, and I even posted one up in the pre-market. Um, there was nothing more manipulated today on the entire market more than sundial, and I stand by that statement. Prove me wrong, bro. Come at me. Bring your favorite YouTuber and come at me. Um, yeah, they needed that $1 not to be met, and they succeeded with it. Because if it had went to that $1, then we would have broke out easily to the $3 range next week, just from the gamma ramp. And when FOMO jumps in even more, because today and yesterday and the day before yesterday were when FOMO started jumping in, and even FOMO didn't pick it up. That's why it was super over manipulated. And before I jump into AMC, let me read these. Uh, both closed over their markets. Yes, they did. Were they in financial trouble? I'm sorry, maybe I got carried away with talking. I can't remember, Tiny. Are you talking about AMC and GameStop? Um, let's see. They are going to try and get bailouts, guarantee you. Um, Peter, 100%. Because majority of the money that was manipulated on for like against us or embezzled from us throughout this whole last year, I guarantee you, when they were offering record bonuses to all these executives and CEOs in the year of 2021, and they were airing that out in the third quarter, I remember, like it was a media tool that they utilized to try to bring us down mentally and psychologically. And it was working on some apes, because they're saying if we were winning, how are they able to, uh, you know, get bonuses and record high bonuses. Well, I'll tell you how. Maybe they've been embezzling a lot of money, and you know how CEOs know, they knew that this thing all this gels back with the same idea, guys. When I told you that from the beginning, they knew that this was inevitable. So they had to prolong this play so they can make enough money eventually for the feds and for themselves so they can deal with this thing when the time comes, as we're approaching it now. Uh, it makes so much sense. And that's why if a CEO or a, a hedge fund manager knows that his days are outnumbered and they know that then that day is coming regardless, what do you think these guys are going to do? They're going to lick their fingers. They're going to go ahead and steal. They will write off bonuses. They will write off a lot of like extremely high money because they're basically trying to take as much money as possible because they know the inevitable is going to happen. And when that happens, they don't want to be left dry, and they transfer all that money over to like Cayman Islands and Swiss bank accounts and all that stuff. So if anyone dives as this deep as I've been diving for you guys and giving you all these little details, again, it's all opinions. But if anyone dives and gives you details broken down like this, please point me in the direction because I haven't seen any. The closest I've seen was AMC Bigham's. I will say that when he at least had that chart talking about the difference between like that market and this market was the CDOs and the options and the naked shares in this market and the synthetics. But believe it or not, guys, he was just validating in that video what a lot of people have been saying back all the way in early of 2021. In fact, in those Reddit pages, that was all what was talked about, was what AMC Bigham's has made into a video now. So good video, great documentary. A lot of people jumped new that did not know this stuff, but if you were in back then, you would have known that all this stuff was happening already, because like Wall Street bets at that time was not even infiltrated, and like a lot of people did a lot of DD on that, and they proved that in a lot of DD. So what's up, bro? Radwan, how are you doing, brother? Assalamu alaikum. And let's see. Tilray. Oh, you're talking about the financial, were they in financial trouble? No, not really. Tilray wasn't. In fact, that's why they went and purchased the Faria, and it was for a lot of money. It was like, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $2 billion or $4 billion. It wasn't a cheap buyout. So they're just trying to make sure that they are the number one on the globe, and they are the number one in that industry on the globe. In fact, their CEO, go look him up, guys. If you are an investor in Tilray, look at the CEO, please. These are some of the things you need to do anyways on your own, but look up Tilray's CEO. Don't just follow AB's words. Or take AB's word for it. Look at Tilray's CEO. He is an awesome CEO, and he's a big time activist. He's been trying to pull so many strings in the background, like in such an unbelievable way. So look him up, look at some of his interviews, and look on his previous background, and you'll see that company is huge, guys. And again, like I said, with that, what happened this week on the option chain, even hypothetically speaking, if Tilray was going broke, we could just say not anymore. The only issue any of the marijuana companies have, guys, and the reason why I like the boards of majority of the marijuana companies is because every board member in those rooms is so much more talented than most of the other companies. I will compare them a whole lot to GME's board, and here's why. Take a breath first, and here's why. The marijuana market, do you imagine being that company? Imagine yourself being that company. Imagine how many hoops you have to jump through to make sure that you stay solvent and you stay in business. Do you know how many, like their number one problem is the legalization in the United States, which is the biggest market on the globe. And that's what's holding them. If they're doing all this without access to here, the only way that they was able to access the US was excuse me, through the CBD sales and CBD operations. Do you see how they had to adapt just to stay alive? All the marijuana companies have been on a big survival episode or season all their lives. So if I was to ever get need to make up a board member, or need to make up a board for my company, I'm gonna look there. If none of the GME board members are available, I'm gonna look there. But best believe none of my board members will be from AMC's board. That's the only thing that's ruining AMC. We have the most amazing investors, the most loyal crowd, yet the board is that thorn in our head. All right, let's see. Radwan, what are you nervous for, brother? Don't be nervous, but tell me, what are you nervous for? That close was glorious. Even after hours is picking up, it's like they did not put up a fight. I'm so used to them slapping us down $2 to $3 out of nowhere. Uh, uh, out of nowhere. And then, yeah, I'll tell you this, Assiduous, it was definitely not out of nowhere. I mean, these guys gave up like one of their kidneys, you know? They literally donated one of their kidneys, not donated, sold one of their kidneys just so they can do what they did. And even then, it was not the most amazing thing. They really wanted that $20 to be off the table, guys. They really did. And I stand by that. I've been saying that for 3 days into the week, that this is the level that they wanted to break down. It was not 22, even though if we had 22, it would have been even worse for them. But it was not 18 and it was not 20. That's why you saw that 18, we were not even close to that. And whatever they want to battle us on, trust me, every week it will be close to it. And the most important thing, remember what I was talking about in the previous videos? GME did not want to break the $150 level. And guess what we close at? 151.78. I'm on to these guys, man. I've been dealing with them for years, so we changed the show from Better Call Saul, Better Call AB. You could probably guys tell that I'm in this very excited mood because this is amazing. The market, what happened, like I said, besides the letdown on Sundial and what they did with it today, I'm all game today for what's been happening. He is correct. Legal legislation will open up the floodgates for all the stocks in that industry. Wheat stocks over the next year will be big industry since everyone will be high after the crash. Peter, you're very correct. And again, like we said yesterday, and I've said many times before even, that they will have no option but to legalize it because they can make so much money on taxing it. That way, everyone is happy. The public is happy. The companies are happy. The feds are happy. And the investors in that case, in those stocks, will be very happy and handsomely rewarded. I'm thinking about my exit plan. Exit plan for, and I don't want to be greedy and be a bag holder on, just out of curiosity, on what stocks, brother. And here's the thing. Now it's time for real. You know what? Let's just answer that first. On what stock, brother, or stocks? Um, the GME in the money call options was what, like 20,000s? I wonder how many people are gonna turn them into shares at the 150 mark. You'll be surprised, Assiduous. A lot of people. In fact, count on us on this. GME, I remember when I was in it in the January timeframe, I literally cashed out on some options and I exercised some options. And here's why. The reason why we do that is because the GME crowd is so loyal to the cause, and they are the original OGs. No one can deny that fact. Simply because what we had to do was unbelievable. I mean, I would love to see that happening in AMC, And what was happening in GME is that it wasn't just enough of buying and holding the stock back then. We literally were able to go ahead and also place calls with our stocks. And we knew that when it comes to it, that we were going to exercise a portion of our stock and sell out some of the options, because obviously this way you get more money to buy more stock. So we bought more stock that way, and we exercise. So you're getting also more stocks from the exercise. So you could do that. You could sell half, and then the other half you can exercise. And again, I'm not giving financial advice, but this was happening back then, and that's what made GME fly over, and then made Robinhood take away the buy button and say, I can't do this anymore. Um, I'm just a little boy from Bulgaria, or where is he from? Bulgaria or Ukraine? A hole. Peter said, also, bro, after MOS, start a Discord or a group and we can all combine and start making money together. I would love to do that, Peter. Here's the thing. It rubbed me the wrong way when many of these people that started, I remember back then, like I said, I told you guys, I was in this whole stuff way before the YouTubers came to life. Like, I feel like YouTubers saw DFV, what he was doing in Reddit, on Reddit, and then they were like, okay, we could do the same thing or be the same thing on YouTube. Smart on their end. I'm not gonna, bash anyone or throw any shade on anyone. Why would I? In fact, I salute them, and I encourage them, and I'm happy for them to be happy in their lives and succeeding in whatever realm. So at the end of the day, I remember seeing like all these, when the Trays and the Matt Kors started preaching on the stocks and all that stuff, and even when way later down the line in April, when Lou came on, and it was so crazy to me when he came on in April, guys. And I'm not gonna turn this on Lou, but I'm just saying, like, he came in April and he said, I saved display. I came and I said, bro, you did not save anything. If you're a Lou follower, please, people, go and tell him this. Tell him that I said this, because he did not save anything. The play was already developing since late 2020, and it got bigger after January of 2021. 3 months later down the line, he comes. Yes, he started catering to a certain crowd, that crowd that is not familiar with anything, but they were super interested in what happened in January. Like, what happened to GME? Is there another chance? What's going on with AMC? They seem to be talking about it. And then he came on and took the handle from there, or the mantle from there, and took off. So great job on his end. But truth be told, there was no saving done, and nobody saved no play or made a play, because the play was already a monster back then. So let's see. Oh, Radwan, it's AMC. Oh, okay. So that you're thinking about your exit strategies. Okay. Well, Radwan, I can't give you a how and what you should do, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm gonna say what personally I had as what I think I want to do. One, I want to go ahead and I always said, I always get my initial investment out. Now, some of you guys would ask, like, when do you choose to take your initial investment out? Well, I do know that GME, without squeezing, went to the $400 range in January, and that was not a squeeze, because only a few shorts covered, and they not the whole play was done. Obviously, if all the shorts covered, then we wouldn't have GME at this price that we see it at today. It might be all the way back at $10 or $8. You know what I'm saying? Now, fundamentally, for the future, GME is obviously worth way more than that. But like I'm just continuing to say to you guys, if all shorts covered at that time frame in January of 2021, GME would not be in the three-digit range for a whole year, dancing around that price or above that price, until just recently it dropped under 100 just for a couple of weeks, and then completely right back above it. So when that happened, so for me, this is just me speaking, I'm going to be looking in those levels just to get my initial investment out. That's it. After that, I have no pressure on my back. I'm looking for 4 digits left and right. And if anything, I'm going to keep my eyes on what's happening. I'm looking at the shorts covering, and I'm looking at the, the short interest, and I'm looking at the daily volume. All those things are going to be my friends, and they could be your best friends as well in the time of. Um, and at the end of the day, you remember one most important thing as well, Redwan. I know that there's never enough amount of money. Like you could always be like, I want more and more and more. Um, the best way to tackle that is for you to sit with yourself and see what is life changing for you. You know, what are you doing this for? For me, I started doing the stocks back in 2018 and the crypto back in 2012, 2013. But initially, the reason why I got into crypto in the beginning, because I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to be the future. So I jumped into that. I seen that the movement was super early still, and so much corruption was happening. I mean, I got screwed so many times because you couldn't invest in the U.S. You had to invest in like overseas companies, like in Europe. So I was invested in companies that were in freaking Netherlands and whatnot. And every once in a while they were like, I cannot tell you how many bitcoins I have lost throughout my life back then, because it was very cheap back then. And unfortunately, suddenly they will send you an email, like I'll try to log into my account and they'll say you don't have a login. um, and then they say that you got hacked and everything got stolen. What rights do you have? None, because you're not even within the country. You're from the US. So I had to deal with that. But ultimately, moving along, when I got into the stock market and started getting serious about it in 2018, my goal was to do it so that I can transition to doing it because it's what I loved. I've been doing my like retail and my own business, just so you guys would know, since I was 21. Um, I've never gave you guys the story of what made me change my life like 180 degrees, or like, yeah, literally 180 degrees. Because I was a person who was in college and I was in going into my second year. And suddenly I made a big change. Again, this is a story that I will tell you guys once. I promise you that this is a story as well that's like a movie, similar to how I got here to the US back when I was a kid. Uh, that this story is kind of like, I don't know, like it's like the second movie to that first movie. My life is filled with so many movies, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys have your stories and your movies. But this story as well is crazy. So like since I was 21, I will tell the story at a different time. You guys remind me whenever you want to hear it. But when I was 21, you know, I had my first business and it was a phone store. It was like cellulars. So I was selling, all phones, activating phones, fixing phones, unlocking phones. And yes, that was my dream at the time. So I was like, I had it, 21, perfect, young age. And then my ultimate plan was to have more and more businesses, be an entrepreneur, be on my own. So I realized as I get to this age now that I'm in, I'm 33, by the way, guys, um, that I'm getting tired, and I got tired of retail. I'm got tired of always being A plus of everything, or the idea of having to be somewhere to make an income. You see what I'm saying? Or to watch it. Because I also have that personality where it's like kind of OCD. I have to be overwatching everything. I do obviously give my employees all their freedom and everything. But in the same time, we have regulations and everything that has to go accordingly to the plan or the diagram that I lay out, and we go from there. It was crazy, but I got tired of that. So I wanted something that I could do without me having to get something to present that something to someone and convince them I'm buying it. Um, uh, so I will dive later at, again, like at the story at a different time, on what businesses it took me from the phone store. What did I jump to after that, and what I jumped to after that, and the kind of like things that I went through to ultimately get to this point. And my like overall, just so you can see how special your question was, Radwan, and how special I hold the answer to you, is by taking all this time just for you, brother, because it touches home, and I know every single one of you there have literally a similar story to Redwan, because I know everyone is nervous, like what bracket do I sell at? But you just don't know, and you hear it, the answers from so many different people out there, and you get good answers. But ultimately, I'm just walking you through personally how I'm going about this, so that you can feel it more than just hear it. Um, so ultimately, my main mission was to get to a point where I wanted to be retired before I get to my 36 to 37 age. And that's because I want to put all my thoughts and all my efforts into different things, like seeing the world, going out there. And my number one goal, guys, is to go to every place that does not have any point or any bright future on looking ahead forward, and just plant an idea. Just plant the idea, because when somebody can be successful in one place, so is everyone else in different places. But what's different is that here we get to see it, practice it, and live it. We have the opportunity to do that here in the US. We're very fortunate. Where in many different parts of the world, they don't have that. So they don't even get to practice it or even try it. So I would love to go around and try to plant hope and a seed for success for anyone or everyone anywhere out there in the universe. So my ultimate dream is to be financially independent, and that's how I'm going about my brackets, Ridwan. Hopefully that narrowed down the gap, because I know no one can give you that answer um, ultimately, but we can try to narrow it down. Let's see. No, assiduous. I'm not reading from the chat room. I'm looking at the after hour moves on my laptop. You see, I'm looking at those numbers, but I'm reading the chat through the phone. I just scroll up on it, or and see it. Sorry, I might have skipped some. Let me see. So, okay, Peter, sorry, back to that as well. The initial question that you've asked as well. Sorry, I was a little passionate for a second. So yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way when I've seen people like Charlie. There was somebody called Charlie's Vid. I don't know if you guys are familiar with or not. And majority of these other channels, they moved on from just being a YouTube channel to doing that stuff, but they also charge for it. I understand you have to charge for cost. You can't just be paying it out of pocket or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I will be down for something like that if obviously you guys want to, work with it. We all can correlate and work with it. But we want to make sure we tackle that there's no money involved in that, except of our own, what we want to invest in as friends, as buddies. But no one is going to be paying no one. I personally don't want to make anything from stuff like that. So if we can make that happen without having to be, costing each other or charging each other, obviously, then I'm all game, brother. As CG said, AB, in my country, when I spill my coffee, my girlfriend beats me. Where's your country, brother? Tell me. I want to know. Sounds like it's the US. um, Tiny, what happened with SNDL? It's plain and simple. What happened with SNDL was suppression at its finest, and it made me hold on to everything I have, just specifically because all that suppression will have to come out at some point next week or the week after. Watch, they're gonna try to scatter all what was suppressed next week, and it at this point it kind of does not matter. They just want to. They succeeded with not letting all the stocks gamma ramp next week, but guess what? They did not succeed with the fact that they let a few of them get into a position for a massive gamma squeeze, if not a squeeze, like in the potential of tlry. And guess what? That is going to open up the door for the rest. Do you know how much suppression is on sundial and some other meme stocks? Do you know how, when that breaks, when that wall is broken, that dam is broken? Do you know what is going to happen? We're talking about the day after tomorrow. If you watched that movie, guys, before, it's an older movie, but that's what you're looking at. Once that dam is broken, you're looking at the day after tomorrow effect. Uh, yeah, level 25 extension, half of the continent being underwater. Reporting live with a hookah and a bunch of water. It's history in the making, Tiny said, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and so am I, Tiny. I added more shares of BB Inc. BBIG, you mean? If you did, smart person. Very smart person. BBIG, again, I've laid out many times to you guys like all the fundamentals on the company for the future and how it does make a case. It's not just one of those. For now, they've been pumping it and dumping it. But here's the thing: for the last 4 months, they haven't been able to pump it and dump it as they see. No, once it goes up, they make sure it's controlled levels of how much it goes up because they have to watch out. I also reported to you guys. I remember last month. Look at this number. The FTDs on BBIG was higher than all the meme stocks combined. Not all of them in particular, but let's just say AMC, GameStop, BB, BBBY, all those combined did not, like all their FTDs on them, did not even average. They possibly went up halfway to BBIG's failure to delivers. Do you see how much suppression is on that stock? And I got the numbers to prove it. So you can look in my community posts, scroll down, and you'll see when I reported that for the second half of January into the first half of February. So you're talking about just 1 month period. And you'll see a list of the stocks of how many FTDs were on them. And you'll see that BBIG had over 12 million shares that were not delivered just in 1 month period. I think AMC's was 2 million or 3 million. GameStop's was like, I think around, I forgot the numbers completely, guys. So you feel free to go through the community post and look at that post. I have them right after each other. But that's why I say BBIG is a sleeping monster, or not a sleeping monster. It's put on the back burner. And I feel like they also reached out and controlled that board because that board was supposed to do that special, the reverse play, the special dividends play for Cryptide long time ago. It was supposed to happen back in October and September of 2021, and they kept postponing it, and it was supposedly that it was supposed to be in the early part of 2022. Well, guess what? We're about to be midway in 2022 soon. Give it 2 more months, and we're gonna be midway. So something is gonna happen soon with that guy, and when it takes off, you remember that AB told you so. Again, AB did not tell you to go buy or invest in anything or sell anything, but I'm just simply stating my thoughts on what I see on the market, not just on one stock or two stocks. Okay. I would love to be a fly on the wall in these hedges trading rooms, just listening to them freaking out. Watch Boiler Room. It's also another old movie, but it had a lot of characters that are known in it. Even Vin Diesel was in it. Watch. I don't know if you probably watched it, but if you haven't, watch Boiler Room. You will love it. You're welcome, Ridwan. Appreciate you, brother. Not financial advice, but for me, nothing less than 1,000. Not looking for no 100K or anything. It will run into 1,000 unless government shuts the whole play down. Hey, that's why they say it's not, financial advice. You never know. Look, Sidious is ready to reply. Peter, you don't know that, man. It's okay to ground yourself, but we're in a unique situation, or once in a lifetime ever situation. Set your floor and stick to it. Not financial advice, but good one, Assiduous. I'm all for high floors and all, but this price anchoring I hear is not helpful. It's okay to be cautious because the government writes rules for us and not themselves. And here's the thing. On that note, guys, you've seen what is okay. We are completely different from the situation with the nickel short squeeze that happened, just a week ago, a couple weeks ago. And the only thing that we have similar to with that situation is the fact of how they conducted that situation. That was a really interesting situation to look at, guys. If you've seen what they were doing, like when obviously they suspended the trading on all that, I'm pretty sure some people got lucky with a couple of trades that were in, a few trades that were in 80 or 90 or $100,000 range. But obviously, as they suspended it, when it reopened back up, they were able to somehow, uh, you know, take some of those orders and basically just opened up at 40 and said, okay, this is the new floor, this is it, and they kind of capped it there. And whoever was at that point had to make a choice: either we're selling for that price, or or just write it down and see where it goes. Now, here's the thing: they kind of strategically picked that level because either way, where it took off from was in the 18s and the 19,000 range, if not the $15,000 range, if I'm not mistaken. And they knew that, hey, even for that person that they dropped it down to that 40,000 level, you're still making more than triple, almost, or double your investment on that play. So you're not coming out as a loser in this case. So they kind of just wanted to be happy that you're at least coming out with some money instead of losing. So the similarity here, or what we can see, is they could possibly do something similar to that. But here's the thing, guys. That was one ticker, was nickel. That's it. In this case, we have many meme stocks that are going to squeeze. What is the level? And this brings me to why I diversified my investments, because in case they do any shenanigans like that, and no one can come out and tell you otherwise, because you don't know the future, and none of those YouTubers know what the government is actually going to do in the time of. It's because when I diversify it, if there's any crap that happens in one end, I'm not going to be pissed completely that I put about a year and a half worth of my lifetime into something and just followed one thing. You see what I'm saying? This is why I said I have a huge position in GME and AMC and tlry and sundial, and even a koss. Don't get me to forget about that. And some in bbby, and I have a few other positions that are just not big. Those are the most big ones that are in my portfolio. And this is why I did it that way, because I know that if at some point they're gonna, do some effery with one stock, and I don't want to be screwed only on just one. Oh wow. Okay, Radwan. Catch you later, bro. Enjoy the kapsa. Kapsa is a very, very. I ate that yesterday, by the way. Yes, Tiny. Words cannot express how bad I want that. Like, I want Ryan Cohen to do something with, as he's doing with bbby and cleaning up their board members. I want him to do that for AMC. I so wanted that to happen. Future Will, what's up, brother? Did we talk about that? Yes, but we'll talk about it even more now. Hold on for a bit. We're going to talk about it, brother. AB, the nickel situation was with some Chinese dude that didn't even listen to his own advisors that told him to stop and pull back. And he said, I know more, LOL, trust the Chinese, but good food. Yeah. Yeah, I remember reporting on that when it first happened, assiduous. And I believe that guy's name was Jang, uh, however way they want to pronounce it with an X. So his name was Jang, and yes, he did do that and he did say that. But again, the only similarities we have with that situation, or could have similarities in that situation, is if they, cap it at some point and say, okay, after the suspension, we're just going to open it back up here and you got to deal with whatever you got to deal with. Um, I'm interested to see how this, like I said, will play out. That's why I covered my bases on so many different fronts, because again, when you try to think like them, you can see a lot of things that could potentially be a problem, and you could address them so that you don't become victim to that. Peter said you're not lying. That Chinese food is good as H. Yeah. Okay. So AMC, we broke the $20 level. It didn't break the break even level for those ones that wanted to sell, like if they were at if they had the $20 strike price for AMC, um, and wanted to make money, just sell their calls instead of exercising them. That was out of the question because the break even was anywhere above the 248 or the 2048 and above. Now, the good part here is that a big percentage of those people, if they have money on the side, they will exercise those options, of course, and buy them as shares, because clearly we're gonna have a nice gamma ramp next week. Um, Even a little more, it's even going to be a much bigger than what we saw this week. This is my opinion. This is what I predict. We'll see. Now, I also did break down future will. I did break down how GME, if you remember in the live a few days ago and yesterday also, said that the level they did not want to break, us to break, was the 150. And guess what? We closed at 151. So we are golden on that end. I mean, they're super screwed on GME, guys. But the hero of the day, in my opinion, was tlry. Tlry came in and obliterated on them on the option chain left and right, and you're gonna see the effects of that next week as well. Sundial will have its own little run up as well. Unfortunately, it's going to be little. What's going to be a combination of some of those 50-cent contracts that went in the money. The open interest on them was about 13,000 compared to the 60,000 for the $1. You see what I'm saying? So all that went out of the money, but at least the 13,000 was in the money. So you're going to see a combination of that, and you're going to see a big combination from all the suppressed orders that were not going through today. You're talking about over a $500 million in volume, and I was seeing the level 2 throughout the whole day from the pre-market till now, and unfortunately they were just suppressing it like no other. Like no stock got more manipulated today than Sundial. Come at me, anybody. Let's see. um if I could think like them, I would have maxed out 10 credit cards and probably be a homeless, since I could just tell my landlord, here's some dollar bills I just printed for you. Haha. You know what? That was the best example I've seen all day, or heard all day. For sure, Assidious. I mean, it's very relevant to the situation that they're doing with us right now. So, indeed. Um, do you imagine the face of the landlord telling them that? Mm, OJ and coffee. You know what's gonna happen next. Um, Assidious, what's your thoughts on this Boston Global Group uh, picking up a fight with GME? So BCG, yes. Um, I think they're I don't think it's even them that's picking up the fight with GME. I think it was more so of Ryan Cohen picking up the fight with them. And I want to say it like this. I think that Ryan Cohen is obviously, besides the fact that he's a genius and an amazing CEO and an individual, um, as we can see right now, at least, he besides all that, he's not just intelligent, he's very strategic. He's a very smart strategic person, especially with strategies, because what he was doing, as you can hear, Ryan Cohen, for the last better part of the last 5 months, he was very quiet. He even have mentioned that when he had some board members leave their posts and resign, they said because he and the other board members were not willing to share their strategy on what to do. And you know why he was doing that? Because he know that he cannot trust anybody on the board. This is why this is their case that is happening in AMC, where AMC is getting screwed through its board members. Remember those times when almost every week we had the perfect run up set up, and then suddenly out of nowhere, oh, some insider sale reports, and then at the end of the year, the last piece was Adam Aaron. He jumped in and started selling some of his and saying that, oh, my advisor said that I'm too old, so therefore I gotta sell some, um, and I gotta diversify. It was all garbage, guys. All this stuff is bull crap. Again, you tell me if you were in his position, even if you were 80 years old. Look at that one YouTuber, Jay, that Jay guy. The guy is much older than Adam Aaron, right? And may he live long and happy and healthfully and peacefully. But he's way older. Why is he not diversifying? Look at the guy. He's crazy about AMC and GameStop and Sundial, right? At least that's what he says. Why would you, no matter what your age is, why would you, even if your advisor is telling you something, why would you even listen to him? If you know, I mean, out of all of us, he should be the one that it should be the most bullish on AMC's stock. Um, he even seen more things behind the scenes than we have. He knows, or at least seems to know, that we own more than 90% of the float. He's seen the numbers. He looked behind the curtain. So why sell and dump your shares? No one can ever answer me that. The only best answer to that was, or logical answer to that, besides the crap of me getting too old excuse, was the fact that, executives and board members only have certain times throughout the year that they can execute trades. They can't just trade at any given time, which is a very good argument. But why would if I was obviously Adam Aaron, if I was him, why would I want to sell any of these shares at that price? I mean, he did also give his two sons a good amount, like bunch of shares. What do you think? What do you think they're doing with him? You know, I'll be surprised if they're holding their shares and their dad dumped shares on the market. It's. I would not be surprised. They probably are two strong apes in the movement. And I think they should start a YouTube channel to give us the scoop. I mean, Daddy can't get mad at them. So yeah. So besides all that, guys, Ryan Cohen is very strategic, and for the better part of the last 5 months, he literally could not trust anybody in that board until he re-evaluated that whole board, remade everyone that's in there, brought in his A team, his Avengers basically, and then he was able to trade all his strategy on how to better make the company going down the line. Some, like I said, some board members left in the early parts of him being appointed as chief, and because they left, they even stated it in interviews. They said that we left because he would not share with us his strategies on how we're going to go about bettering the company. Um, and that tells me that the guy is not only intelligent on a literal uh, level, he's very intelligent even strategically and politically. He knew he couldn't trust any of them, because if he shared any of his strategies, he knew that that would automatically be flown straight over to the hedgies and the enemy, and he knew who he was up against. So therefore, He wanted to consolidate for the better part of the last 5, 6 months so that when he came out recently against BCG and started going off on them and throwing that and then doing all this, he knew first there's such a huge crowd crying out for fairness first, which is all of us apes, millions of us, which we were automatically going to all be on his side by default. And on top of that, he has something like he even put another stamp. This is how I read situations, guys. And he put a stamp by buying 100,000 of GME shares. That's not a little amount. That's that's not just a whale amount. That's like the ultimate amount, you know. And dumped it on there and said, "Here, I put my money where my mouth is." And he started getting mouthy with BCG, which shows me that now he's going and shifting to the offensive. He's no longer consolidating and trying to build and all this stuff. He laid out the foundation. This is how I read that situation, brother. He laid out the foundation. He knows that from here on out, it's only up. And that's why it's safe zone for me to come out and show them my army and show them my shining armor and what we are going to do with this. And that's what I see. That's my thoughts are on the Ryan Cohen situation with BCG. Assiduous. Let's see. Watch the media is going to have a field day with that lawsuit story with BCG. Headline today: GameStop refused to pay 30 million bill from consultant firm, lawsuit says. Yeah, sure. You know what's crazy is that they're still operating with this media gimmicks, and it baffles me how why are they even still spending money on that or even doing that, because that initially was the first fear that the apes had to deal with. Um, but it's like old news now. Like we don't care. They can report that AMC is closing everything tomorrow, and everybody will be like, okay, did the shorts cover? um, let's see. There's been findings that these BCG company executives are now working for Citadel. Yeah, we said this yesterday, Assiduous, when that even one of those BCG people is the I think he was the executive chairman for something in Citadel. At least that's the biggest one out of all of those. Uh, yeah, he was something like that. I forgot the title, but I mentioned it yesterday in yesterday's chat. Uh, um, it's you, there's even so much more that guys like. There was a guy that works for Citadel, like one of their financial advisors in Citadel. He was the head chief of, I think it was the NSCC. Could you believe how huge that is? Like even they have people in the SCC, the NSCC, they have people in the Congress, obviously. They donate to their campaigns. There isn't someone that they're not connected to. But that's the problem with the buy and hold situation for them, not for us, is that there is really nothing you can do against it unless you rip off everyone, and that's not something that they would want to do because that way you're starting a fight from within the country, or you delay until you figure out an answer, and at the end of the day the answer is cough it up. That's the only answer. There's nothing else you could do. uh, they just lived off of the fact that many things, one, the repo reverse repo operations, that was mainly, according to me, funding all their gimmicks and all their manipulation. That was the payroll that was giving them the ability to do all that, and all the out of the money options that every week they were slaughtering. It was a slaughterhouse every week for the past year, almost a year and a half. um, um, Assiduous, just FYI, the tiny investor, it is not a man. That's as close as I would say. uh, Yes, saw that. They're all in on it, which explains why they're not doing anything to stop it. Yep. Listen, guys, remember this. When it's a winner, everybody wants part of it. But when it's a loser, no one wants anything to do with it. And right now, no one, trust me, no one wants to come out in the headlines like these idiots, the BCGs. And that's why I think that Ryan Cohen is the one who picked the fight with them. Uh, he's going out as like the, remember that movie series that was called the Vampire Slayer. Forgot her name. It was a good movie. Wolves against vampires and all that stuff. But anyways, yeah, Ryan Cohen is the vampire slayer right now, and he's the hedgies slayer, and he's going out slaying all of them left and right. And no one wants any part of it, guys. Trust me, no one wants to be labeled in the media to be something against whether AMC or GameStop at this time, because the time zone of make them not believe has passed a long time ago. Like no one, like now it's not a problem of believing anymore. Everybody knows what's up with AMC and GameStop. The problem now is when, and that's why none of these executives or hedgies want anything to do media wise with these plays. Let's see. Thank you everyone, guys, for liking the video. I see we got just a few more people in now. Um, let's see, where do we go? Who's next? Not even an honest report about what is going on in that world. Of course. Who controls the media? Yeah, we know who now. Um, Assiduous. Let's see. AB and Tiny Investor. Maybe we can go all. We can all go down to Gary Gensler's office and help him find his balls. Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't want to help any man find his balls, honestly. Uh, or if the closest I would get to that is with a baseball bat, and maybe then. But let's just backtrack from that and say, think of it, Assiduous. He's first, I looked at him from his background, okay? His background was that he worked for Goldman Sachs and he was in that industry, okay? He is person that they know. None of us, they all label us as their enemy, but they don't know us individually, but they know him individually. He dines, wines, and eats all in that same country club that all these guys are in. If he needs to have a future for advancement in his career and all that, do you know how many people, like we all see movies, guys, but let's face it. Do you think that if he does not play ball by their grace, don't you think that this guy is his career is officially basically over, because they will get him out of that SEC chair. They will also make sure he will never see any advancements in his life moving forward, because their webs are connected everywhere. All their strings are in the Congress, in the feds, in the Oval Office, everywhere. The only reason why it seems like they're doing something now is because the situation can't be handled anymore, and they know at the end that the government has been raising money basically through, you know what I've been telling you, the repo and reverse repo, for over a year. Now they can go ahead and say, okay, we can bail this out now. And we're going to bail them out because they don't want to pay. These guys are too powerful because they have already paid out so many people on their payroll on the inside, on many different levels, whether the Congress level or not. It's not hidden business. It's out there in front of you. You just have to look for it. Whether the Treasury, like Yellen, making millions for just speaking fees in Citadel, through Citadel. Whether it's Jay Powell, where in on every level they have their webs spread to, you know. So I'm not trying to cut the guy slack, but he is contained. That's the point that I'm trying to get, is that he's contained. Even if he finds his balls, he's gonna castrate them himself because he can't do much. And that again is 100% why it seems like he's doing something now, when all these things that he's doing now, he could have easily done back in when he first took office back in early 2021. Um, he could have done that all the way back then. He didn't need almost a year to finally come out and say, okay, we need transparency. Peter, the well is dry now, and everyone is thirsty for liquidity. Another one, uh, or two Powell 50 base point hike, and game is over for all markets. Yeah, I've mentioned, guys, that through this channel, you guys know that I am all for all the other stocks dropping. Um, all the stocks that are not, whether mid cap or meme stocks, because that's a great buying point for me. Then if it all crashes and everything goes down to the ground, it's an easy pickup point. It's 2020 all over again, only this time with a lot more capital than just the stimulus package money. Fighting from within the country, you must not be in America, since President Poopy Pants uh, calls us domestic terrorists on the air whenever he's feeling himself. Well, here's one thing. I am definitely in the US, brother. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. But I believe that the president right now is in Poland. So he must be shitting universally right now. I love you, Assidious. Let's see. Guys, Gary Gensler could have been bullied at work, and sometimes that causes people to stray a different direction, and he could be actually trying to make a change and not worried about advancement. That's true, Will. But remember, these guys are so insidious to the point where they're so insidious and assiduous. Look, we used your name, assiduous. They're both of that, those that they would even reach it out to his other family, like, hey, okay, you think any of them are gonna get job opportunities here? Like, these guys will not like stop you. I know you guys are all seeing similar movies to this, like what we're talking about right now. These guys are all like the guys that we're up against are all of them in one. All the bad people that you see separate movies about each single one, we're fighting all of them. This is like an Avengers end of the world kind of situation. We're not fighting one for this episode and then fighting the second for a second episode. No, we're fighting all of them all in one movie. That's why this thing is not going to happen ever again, because everything is going to be redesigned and rechanged uh, as soon as this thing is done. That's just it. Uh, and like I said, he will be like the leech will be uh, tightened on his neck to do whatever he got to do. And again, that's why I said that it seems like he's doing something about it now. But look when it's coming. It's coming, what, a year later? I mean, go try to say this, future Will. Try to say this to the people that lost money back in 2021 on these plays. Whether through options or they got burned, they couldn't hold anymore and sold their share positions in both of these companies like GME and AMC. What do you think they're gonna respond to you with? Of course, they have a lot of problems. Of course, they're going to tell you that, from their perspective, they were not able to last like you or me or anyone else in this chat. But they are completely, I wouldn't be surprised if they hate anything called AMC or GameStop now, because it reminds them of their failure. And they could easily look for an excuse. They look at Gary Gensler, for example, and say he could have been doing this crap all along. He could have done that back then. And sensitively, you cannot argue against it for their case, because again, I feel for them. I feel for anyone that have lost on these plays in whatever form, whether in options or in stocks. um, but of course, you got to leave door and leave some space for self punishment. Like, you gotta at the end of the day also punish yourself to learn from your mistakes. So I'll just leave it at that. Future said we need to make sure we help take care of Gary Gensler as long as this does happen. Yeah, for sure. Don't worry. Right now, he's got all our. He's got. In my opinion, I give him the you know the opportunity to go ahead and use the president's caddy, the monster. The beast. He could use the plane as well. Whatever you want. I mean, there's two of them, anyways. Every time the president takes off, there's a second uh, plane. I don't know if you all knew this. That is very similar to it. That takes off with it. It's so crazy. Just so that if in case anybody who's crazy to try to do an attack on the president's plane while it's flying, um, they won't know which one is which. GME is at 152.60. Yes, for after hours for sure. They got screwed. Like I said, Tiny, they got screwed on GME this week. They got extremely screwed on tlry. Even though it looks like after hours now is down a percent and percent and a half, and sundial is down 3%. But again, all that could change in just an hour or so. And just wait till next week and see what happens. Let's see. Future say, I know they got my phone tapped. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, they probably have this stream tapped. So, yeah. I don't think anybody's doing anything to get Gensler. I think Gensler is the best cowboy that exists. Changing my demeanor, huh? Screw all these guys, man. Uh, let's see. So excited about that. AB, are you doing this on a regular basis now? Doing what exactly? The live? Give Gary the codes to the secret box. Uh, well, it depends on which box he's trying to find. Live. Okay. You guys tell me. What do you think? I seem to like when I uploaded videos, I didn't like okay because I always want to be very very thorough with everyone and with my message. Um I always put out more than one video. I put in like 4 or 5 videos back to back. And yes, that like, it shows that a bunch more people see it. And here's the thing with live, I've been noticing that we don't get the followers in because perhaps maybe there's other lives or anything. So maybe they go in and want to view the videos after, especially that they're not long, if they're like 5 or 6 minute long videos or 7 minute long videos. So you guys tell me, what do you want? Doing the live is much easier to break whatever down, and if there's any question, it can be replied to live. But as far as like who's seeing it, that's the only thing I'm not happy with live. Like we get like what now, as you can see, we have 11, 12 people in the chat. I want people to get what they want to get, the answer that they want to get, to get it from here. So videos, they all can look at it and stop it at their own convenience. But in the live form, if we do, for example, like this, like 2 hour long or 3 hour long lives, if that person wasn't able to come in at that particular moment that possibly could have covered his question, um, then they're just not going to see it through us. They might have to see it somewhere else. And that's what I'm conflicted on. Help me out, guys. That's the weird part. Yes. Assiduous, yes. Um, I haven't seen like a tab that maybe I have to press that shows what the live, what like to replay the comments. Um, so I have to check before I go live. But again, I'm leading over to you guys. Like, what do you guys should I do? Um, should I just go back to making videos and every now and then do a live here and there? or perhaps make videos, but I don't know, and make a live in the power hour just to see where the stock goes. We all be together. Um, but then I'll be inclined to try to cover everything that I will perhaps have nothing to make in the video. Who knows? Should I just make both? The live, like I said, and then do the videos and upload them so whoever didn't hear the message in the live or wasn't in the live could see it in the video. I don't know. I'm throwing this over to the Congress. You guys are the Congress. Please vote on the issue. Let's see. Assiduous. When do I think moon? Do I think next week? Um, as I've labeled before, brother, I said I wanted, like, what confirms to me is a squeeze, personally for me, is at least two straight sessions that are any like an upward movement of anywhere between 30%, like 25%, 25% to 30%, but back to back. And what that indicates strength, the strength of uh, the stock is as obviously, and the trend is not dying. Instead, it's actually ramping up. That's one. Two, when you have those two back to back, look at the price right now. We have $20, okay? Forget the 24 cents. We'll just say $20. If that was to go up Monday and Tuesday, let's say Monday 20%, 25%, but let's just make it easy, 20%, and then on Tuesday it goes another 20% or 30%. Now that's a total in 2 days of 50%. If my level is 60%, and that's my level, but I would say, let's say 50%. So 50% of 20, that's $10, which means by next week we're looking at $30. If I see it at $30 by Tuesday or Wednesday, um, then I will officially come out to you and everyone here and say that yes, this is, in my opinion, officially the squeeze. And this is why I held on to some money on the side. Remember what we were talking about last week, guys? That those levels are extremely important, because even if they try to drop it from that $30 range, there's no way they'll be able to drop it back from 30 all the way down to 20, especially with all the conditions that we're going through and all the market breaking down, and especially with other stocks like tlry or GME breaking out as well on the side. So there's no way to contain it at this point. Like, before, they were able to contain it and just keep manipulating it through manipulation. Now they can't even contain it through manipulation. There's no way, because it's not just one front, it's more than one front. And I believe, I was, again, I don't view many YouTube channels, so therefore I couldn't, I can't take that or say that, but I do believe that I was one of the only ones that has always been saying for months now, that I believe this whole meme stocks will squeeze at the same time. Majority of the people that I went to see, or just to get their see their view on what the squeeze will look like, had thought that it will just be GME and AMC first, and then after that it will jump over whether to sundial or other meme stocks. And I was completely against that, because, and now it's funny how now all YouTubers are changing their stance to that and saying, yeah, oh well, now we have the answer to the question. All of them are going to squeeze. We didn't know in the beginning if it was going to be all or just one or two. Well, guess what, guys? When you have experience on your side, it's easy to see that it's going to be all of them squeezing at the same time. And I made my case for that specifically because there's no way they would want to leave a lot of people. Let that sink in, guys. Think like them, okay? There's no way they would leave only two stocks squeeze like AMC and GameStop, and then leave all the potential other targets, all the other meme stocks on hold, while everybody from the GME and AMC made so much money. Guess what that triggers? Everybody's going to jump into the other meme stocks. They're going to have a reason to jump somewhere else. And then there's no way that they will be even containing. I mean, some other stocks, put it this way. If AMC and GameStop was to break out by themselves, and everything else is held down. Let's see that we're gonna go with the YouTubers' ideas that has been going on for the longest. Do you know when Tilray or BBBY is on the sideline just waiting and sundial with us? Let's say each person made like what, $2-3 million from AMC or GameStop or whatnot. Do you know how dangerous that makes the other meme stock plays? They makes them more dangerous than AMC and GameStop combined, because now you got a bunch of people who did this, who knows what's going on. They've seen it happen with their positions in AMC and GameStop, and now they have other targets to jump to, similarly to Sundial, tlry, and bbby and koss, and then they're not only jumping in with a cute position, they're jumping in with a whale position. How can they stop that? It will even be a worse play than AMC and GameStop combined. So therefore, because of that thinking, guys, I was able to tell many months ago, long time ago, that they had no option to let this work out except by saving as much money, delay this process as much as possible, and when it gets to that time, all of them will squeeze at the same time, and that's what you're gonna see. Obviously, we're not there yet, but again, fact check me when it happens, and you're gonna see that all your favorite YouTubers will switch their stance to exactly what we've been saying here for months, guys. Let's see. Okay. Tiny, I can help you clipped out the important part in the life. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Tiny. Yes, that will be very helpful and amazing. You are a lifesaver. That's so kind of you. I appreciate you. Um, please do. Maybe Tiny can be the moderator in the future when we have a lot more people in the live chat. I'm surprised. How is our live or our channel is not as big as the other channels or even bigger? I feel like we tackle things even like more spot on. I feel like we're very hawkish, the opposite of Jerome Powell. Maybe a little bit like him right now. But yeah, I feel like all that. Like, come on, guys. I don't understand. Is there something that I need to do to market it more, or do I have to change myself or something? Do I need to cater to people what the people want to hear? What do I have to do? Tell me, guys. You are all the OGs. Everyone in here are the OGs of this channel, and will always be this channel for you and because of you guys. Um, so yes, Tiny, I've seen that tool where you could clip, and I think it's up to 60 seconds. Um, but the problem is, I would have to. I mean, as I'm recording, how like I have to go back in after the recording. I mean, the way I see it, as far as I know, I would have to go in and then re-go through, rewatch the whole live stream again and start clipping parts that I need. So I don't know. Um, Future says, I think life is better, but I'm a single father, so I'm really busy, so I miss some of the stuff, but I think live is still better. Okay, okay. So I think I'm leaning toward this now, like where we do the live and we still do a video. I still do a video to talk about or explaining the live or those events, unless there is something that comes off of this clipped, um, conversation that we're having right now. Um, Maybe clip the live into small videos, Pabloco, that address individual topics. Um, yeah, that's great. Assiduous, nice seeing you today, brother. Appreciate your feedback and all your humor as well. I'm very honored to have each and single one of you guys in here as members of the channel, or and also being a part and even giving me some of your time to share all this stuff and be with each other. One happy family. Let's see. Okay. Any questions, guys? Did anybody have any questions? Because we covered so many good things today. And again, for all of you guys, thank you so much also for liking the video. You guys are amazing. We do help push out the channel more this way and get more people. But again, we need more crowd so that we can get this message across and at least end the majority of the confusion that is out there. Not that other, obviously, YouTubers are not doing great. I know there's a lot of great stuff and a lot of great DD out there done. But I think, again, for me, I always want to see something, and I don't want to just stay in the DD form. I want to get enough DD, and then after that, I want my conviction to play out, and I want to lay out the whole image. I want to see the whole thing, and that's why I was explaining to you guys from the beginning how, like, or what I thought or what I think is why all this was happening, why the delay, how they're able to delay, where they getting money from, who's in on this, why are they in on this. All those questions, if you've been a follower of this channel, you would know, you will have an answer to all those questions. You need 2 hookah stands to double your views. That's a very good idea. How you doing, Options Cartel? All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrapping things up since there is not a lot of questions or not any more questions. If you have any, please throw them in. I'm gonna wrap it up in the next 4 to 5 minutes. Let's see. Movement is very stale right now. I'm gonna look forward for that big jump in somewhere around 6 or 7 o'clock. We'll see what's gonna go ahead and what's gonna happen. AMC doing wonderful. GME is doing wonderful. Maybe we can maybe you guys, if anybody sees it, if I don't come back with another video later on tonight, maybe you guys can go ahead and you know, tag me in something or any of that if the movement starts going crazy. I'm gonna be involved in a very serious cards game with some friends. You're welcome, Future Will. Thank you. Appreciate your company, brother. Thanks for all your help. Let's see. Any So for the ones that are here now, as we're wrapping everything up, please share with me, where are you guys from? I want to know where you guys are from, at least for the ones that are in here now. Just go ahead and press at and then, you know, put AB investments, you know, AB, and if that does not work, I apologize. Just go ahead and put a comment on any of my videos, brother. You know, thanks. Thank you, Tiny. I almost slipped up and said your name again. Thank you so much, Tiny. Your brain and your actions are not so tiny. That's for sure. I'll tell you that. So I appreciate it a lot. That would definitely help a lot. H-Town in the house. You know, Future, Houston, I've been in the past few months, is actually one of the places I've been looking at houses to purchase or to move to. So H-Town is in one of my candidates. Love the great state of Texas. So H Town is a big candidate. Okay, thank you, Tiny. I will look forward to that message. And okay, Options Cartel, LA. I'm there at least twice a year. I have friends and family in Cali, and some in San Diego and some in in Los Angeles. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the Midwest, where yeah, nothing too important is happening except the Bengals going over to play you guys, and obvious and we know how that went. Um, Katie, how are you doing? Welcome to the house. Welcome back to the house. And Cali, yes, we got a lot of Cali people in here. Like, yeah, Future said, yeah, get with me. I can let you know where the good areas are. Yeah, I'll definitely need to. If that comes down to it, then yeah, that I will definitely need to, brother. Appreciate it. Options is laughing at the Bengals. I know that for a fact. Just so you would know, Options, I am not, and even though I'm in Cincinnati and I might be rocking an orange shirt, I'm actually a Packers fan, a diehard Packers fan. And yeah, you all can make a laugh about that too, because unfortunately the organization is like, I feel like the Packers are like AMC. They have the best quarterback in the NFL. We have the best stock, but our organization, like our board, is the total opposite. They always seem to take away his favorite receivers, not getting him who he need. I mean, it's just a shame if Rodgers retires with just one Super Bowl. Is It's an ultimate letdown and a shame. But yeah, so uh, screw San Francisco. They screwed us over a couple of times in the NFC playoffs. Well, cartel approves. They're well said. Mm. Okay, my friends. Since there are no more questions and we've done our fun chat and everything, I so humbly and thankfully thank all of you for the company that you graced me with today. Uh, I had a lot of fun. We covered a lot of things. It was a great day in the market. Obviously, not obviously, obviously, many things come. Life comes at you always with some salt and some sugar. So you got to be able to take both and balance them out. We've seen a lot of good things today in the market. And we've seen some bad things, obviously, happen to some stocks. But the overall message is that it was very bullish and it was very great. And we have a very exciting setup for next week. Amazingly great setup for next week. I have not seen similar things like this uh, since that June run up. Excuse me. Since that June run up. And since then, we haven't seen anything like that. And now I'm seeing it again. And it's even more bullish than that run up. So can't wait to see what happens. I will be, with you tomorrow. I will be with you Sunday as well. I will make some videos. Again, if anything crazy happens in the aftermarket, please go ahead and tag me with it, or go ahead and send me make a comment on any of the videos. And again, much love, guys. Enjoy your Friday, and AB Investments once again.